Hello and welcome to my Facebook Live, and welcome to my office for the last few weeks and a couple of weeks to come. I'm out in Paphos in Cyprus. We're doing our master practitioner training out here. Then we have a trainers training masterclass in a couple of days' time. So I'm enjoying the sun and enjoying the beautiful environment here. So I thought this is where I do the Facebook Live from. And what I'm going to talk about tonight, I think, is a really interesting concept. And the concept originally comes from the Vedas, where in the Vedas they say there are three energies that pervade the universe. There's the energy of Raja, Tama, and Sattva. And they are the energies of starting things, maintaining things, keeping things going, and stopping things. So let me just explain a little bit more about that. So, from a personal point of view. So there are some people that are really good at starting things. They get things off the ground, they get it moving, and then they have trouble maintaining it, let alone bringing it to a close. Then there are other people who are really good at picking something up that somebody else has started and keeping it going. Then finally, there are other people who are best at completing things, bringing things to an end, the final piece. And, a metaphor that I use for this, and probably showing my age a little bit, on Saturday night when I was a kid on TV, they would have, on the old-time music hall, they would have somebody that was a plate spinner. And the idea was for the plate spinner to see how many plates he could actually get spinning. That's kind of like dinner plates. Actually get spinning on the end of a bamboo pole. So, firstly he's got to start the plate. So he starts the plates going, flips the bamboo pole, then starts another plate, then starts another plate, then starts another plate. And he would keep moving along. Then he would see at the end of the line where he started out, some of the plates were wobbling, so he needed to keep them going. So he'd run back to the start of the line again, give the bamboo pole a quick flick, and the other one, and the other one, and then get some other ones started too. And ultimately what would happen is there'd be a certain number of plates that he could keep going, and then he just wouldn't be able to run backwards and forwards to be able to keep them all going, and finally those plates would end and they'd all smash down onto the floor. So that's the energies of or the process of starting things, maintaining, keeping things going, or stopping things. And there'll be one of those things that you're best at. You'll either be best at starting things, you'll either be best at maintaining, keeping things going, or you'll be best at finishing things. Though I want to look at how do we use this model to come up with major, what might be described as core or linchpin identity limiting beliefs, that are holding us back in our life. So therefore it wouldn't be based around what we're best at, it would be based around what are we worst at. So, if there's one of those things, starting things, maintaining things, finishing things, that we're best at, then also there must be one that we're worst at. So the question to ask yourself would be, what am I best at? Am I best at starting things? Am I best at maintaining, keeping things going? Or am I best at finishing things? Then the next question would be, what are you worst at? Are you worst at starting things? Do you just not manage to get things going? Are you worst at maintaining things in that you start things, but then you get the traction, if you like, but you never get any momentum? Or are you, good at getting traction, good at getting momentum, but never quite actually finish things, Like when you're decorating your house, you've decorated 95% of the room, but there's one corner that you never quite get to finishing. Then you'd be worst at finishing things. So what are you worst at? Starting things, maintaining and keeping things going, or finishing things? Now there's a relationship then between the energies of starting, maintaining, and finishing, and from a personal level, being who you want to be, doing what you want to do, and having what you want to have. So the starting would be related to being, the maintaining would be related to doing, and the finishing would be due to having. Because until you finish that final thing, that 100%, you don't actually truly get to have what you want to have. So if you came up with that starting things was the thing that you were worst at, then the question that will enable you to identify a limiting belief is, who are you not being that you want to be? If you're worst at maintaining or keeping things going, then the question for you would be, what is it that you're not doing that you want to do? People who are worst at finishing things, then the question would be, so what is it you're not having that you want to have? The presupposition being that people who are worst at starting things would have a problem being who they want to be. They'd say, why can't I be who I want to be? Or why won't people let me be who I want to be? People who are worst at maintaining things, then their comments would be, why can't I just do what I want to do? Or why won't people let me do what I want to do? And people who are worst at finishing things, they would tend to have a problem with having what they want to have. So they would say, why can't I just have what I want to have? Or, why won't people let me have what I want to have? And, you don't necessarily need to take the first answer. You can go, and who else are you not being? What else are you not doing? What else are you not having that you want to have? And they will enable you to discover some major limiting beliefs. Now, I've also used this in corporate consulting, which is quite interesting. It's important that you're dealing with the right person, the top person, if you like, the owner of the business. And you can ask those questions on a business basis, as a business. What are you best at? Starting things, maintaining things, or finishing things? As a business, what are you worst at? Starting things, maintaining things, or finishing things? Then, you got the question. You would then ask the business owner, so as a business, what is the business? Who is the business not being that you want the business to be? What is the business not doing that you want the business to do? Or what is the business not having that you want the business to have? And quite often that brings up some really good key points if you're looking at doing some business consulting, business coaching with a business. Now, there's another way of actually using this. So before we can be, we've got to do, and before we can do, we've got to have. Yep. So we've got be, do, have. So before we can have, we've got to do. Before we can do, we've got to be. And vice versa. Be, do, have. So let's say that this is another way of finding a limiting belief that is holding you back at the identity level. Let's say that you have something in your life at this point in time that you don't want. So then you'd ask yourself the question, to have this in my life, what must I be doing? To have this in my life, what must I be doing? And to do this, who would I need to be? And obviously that's going to be a limiting belief at the identity level. So let's say that you're not having the kind of money that you want in your life. So to not have the kind of money in your life, what would you need to be doing? Or not doing, for that matter? And to be doing that or not doing that, who would you need to be doing that behavior? And that's another way of actually finding a real linchpin limiting decision. But equally, we can use it now to look at how do we go about achieving goals. Because, in previous goal setting things I've done, I've talked about the importance of acting as if. But quite often, if there's a big difference between where the person is now and where they want to be, acting as if the goal's already happened, acting as if it's already a foregone conclusion, might not be that easy. So, for instance, let's say that somebody had a goal to have a significant amount of money in their bank account and currently their bank account's overdrawn. So they're acting as if they're going to achieve this goal of having a significant amount of money, but every time they look on their phone or their computer at their bank account, it says they're overdrawn. How do you actually act as if you're going to make all this money? Or let's say we're working with somebody and they want to weigh 10 stone, let's say. That would be 140 pounds. And but at this point about 65 kilos, if my mathematics is correct. But at this point, they weigh 20 stone. They weigh 280 pounds, or what would that be? 130 kilos, if my maths is correct. So they've got this goal, acting as if I'm 10 stone, 140 pounds, 65 kilos. But when they look in the mirror, they see 20 stone. They see 280 pounds. They see 130 kilos. How do you act as if it's a foregone conclusion? So here we can use the other way round, as in, so who would I need to be? So to have my goal of weighing 10 stone, what would I need to do? To have my goal of having £250,000 in my bank account, what would I need to do? And then to do that, who would you need to be? To do what the behavior that would enable you to weigh 10 stone, who would you need to be? To do the behavior that you need to do to have £250,000 in your bank account, who would you need to be? You see, the thing with that is that you can be that person straight away, because all you need to do is act as if you're that person already. Because, this is another perspective as well to think about with goals. Goals have goals, things that you want to have. I see a lot of people set a goal for doing something. In December 31st, 2018, I'm going to be working out every day. Well, you don't need to set a goal for that. Just start working out every day. By December 31st, 2018, I'm going to be doing 20 prospecting calls a day. Well, don't wait till 31st December 2018. Start making 20 prospecting calls right now. Or, I see people setting goals about who they're going to be. December 31st, 2018, and I'm going to be happy. Well, why wait? Be happy now. So the only one of those out of be, do, have that takes time. Have is the only one that takes time. Do, you can start doing right away. Be, you can start being right away. So if you've got this is what you want to have, then what do you need to do to have that? And who do you need to be to do that? And then just start being that person. Act as if you're that person. This is what acting as if really means. So there's some interesting perspectives on that little model of be, do, have that I use with my coaching and my breakthrough clients. So I hope that's useful. And do the exercise yourself. See what comes up. Obviously, if you come up with a limiting belief, then look at some of the other previous Facebook Lives around getting rid of limiting beliefs, or you can always go to my app at www.davidshepard.com, HARD.com, and in there you'll find a program called Change Your Mind, Change Your Future, and I think it's CD4 in that particular program that will take you through processes to enable you to get rid of any limiting beliefs that you may have found as a result of doing the be, do, have processes. Have a great evening, or great afternoon, or great day, morning, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you again next week on my Facebook Live. See you soon.